Recording in progress.
Perfect. And then I'm going to share my screen. Everyone see my screen? You can't, Bob?
I can't either.
Oh, okay.
Not yet.
One sec. There we go. That might look a little better. Okay, so hello everyone, and welcome to the March 2nd, 2022 neighborhood meeting for Belcaro Subdivision. So my name is Andrea Cares, and I am a planner for the City of Redmond, and I am part of the city review team reviewing this project for compliance with city codes. I will be facilitating tonight's meeting and fielding any questions from the meeting attendees at the end of the presentation. So due to the closure of City Hall by the COVID-19 pandemic, we are hosting the neighborhood meeting virtually. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted to the project webpage for anyone who was unable to attend the meeting. If you are watching this at a later time and were unable to attend the meeting, please feel free to send any questions, comments, or concerns to me. I can be reached by phone at 425-556-2480 or by email at akares@redmond.gov. This information is also shown at the end of the presentation and on the project webpage. So while the presentation is occurring, we do ask that participants remain on mute to avoid audio interference. Once the presentation has concluded, we will open the meeting for questions from the audience. In addition, please be kind and courteous when addressing staff and the applicant team. Any unbecoming behavior may be grounds for removal from the meeting. So this is an overview. Again, we are here today to introduce Belcaro Subdivision. This is a Type 2, apologies. This is a Type 3 land use permit. I will be going over the Type 3 permit process later in the presentation, and then I will hand it to the applicant team to speak more on the project if they wish. Lastly, we will open the meeting to the audience for questions and concerns. We will get started with introductions. Again, I'm Andrea Cares. I'm a planner with the City of Redmond, and I am joined by city review staff tonight. For transportation, we have Peter Lau. For stormwater, we have Abe Santos. And for utilities, we have Hiba Awad. And then we have the applicant team as well. Paula, if you could please introduce yourself and your team, that would be great. Thank you. Oh, you are muted, Paula.
Yes, sorry. Hi, I'm Paula with Rick Bernstead Construction, the developer, and I'm joined with Bob and Sherry with Core Design tonight. And thanks for joining us.
Perfect. Thank you. So here is an overview of what I will be presenting on. We will do the welcome introduction, we will do some general site information, some project details, the permit outline, some next steps, and then questions and answers. So for the general site information, the project has frontage along 134th Avenue Northeast and is located at multiple addresses along 134th Avenue Northeast. So it is made up of 5 properties, and all of those properties are located within the residential innovative zone, which is located in the Willows Rose Hill neighborhood. So the project proposes to subdivide the existing 4.4 acre property into 24 single family homes. And then those 24 single family homes will need some associated improvements such as water, sewer, stormwater, as well as roads. You can see that here. The next slide talks about our tree retention. So the proposed tree preservation plan shows that there are 32 significant trees that were surveyed on the project site. And for the City of Redmond, a significant tree is defined as any healthy tree that's over 6 inches in diameter. So of the 32 significant trees, 20 are proposed for removal and 12 are proposed to be retained. This makes a 37% retention rate on site and satisfies the tree retention requirements in Redmond of 35%. In addition, any tree proposed for removal is required to be replaced on site at a 1-to-1 ratio. Next, we will jump to the subdivision process. So again, this is a type 3 land use process, and the flow chart below shows a high-level overview of that process. On the next slide, I will go into some further detail. So here you can see that yellow represents where the application is currently in the process. Blue represents a future step, and the orange outline represents the best time for residents and interested parties to participate and provide comments, ask questions, or just share general concerns. You can see here that the project is in the beginning stages of the process and the part of the process where public input is welcome. Once the subdivision process is complete, it will go into coordinated civil review where more detailed engineered drawings are reviewed. And then once that's approved, that's where the project starts construction and breaks ground. And that is then followed by the final plat where the lines between the properties are officially drawn and recorded. Now we'll take a closer look at the subdivision process. So the applicant has submitted their formal application for a subdivision. The notice of application has been sent out and you should have received the mailer as well as seen the yellow notice boards on site. So this is another avenue to provide the city with any comments on the project and alert residents and interested parties of their ability to do so. So next in the process is the neighborhood meeting, which we are currently at. So all three of these steps take place during the technical review of the project. So this is where staff reviews for compliance with applicable codes, such as the zoning code, the municipal code, the stormwater technical notebook, things along those lines. So this can be a recurring process and could end up requiring multiple rounds of review until the project is compliant. So once the project is compliant, the technical committee, which is comprised of the planning director and the public works director, will make a decision to require additional info or to recommend a decision of denial or approval to the final decision-making body, which is the hearing examiner. So for the hearing examiner to make a decision on the process, a public hearing is held where the hearing examiner, after considering the recommendation of the technical committee and public testimony received during the hearing, will make a decision within 10 days. So after that decision is made and issued, the project can then be appealed within 10 business days of that decision to the King County Superior Court. And in addition, a project may only be appealed by parties of record. And you can become a party of record by providing me with your first and last name, as well as a mailing address. If you choose to be a party of record, please feel free to call or email me. And now I will turn it over to the applicant team if they have anything that they might want to add. You good, Paula? Good, Bob?
I think so. We're planning on 24 homes. Square footages will range from 1,500 square feet to maybe 3,500 square feet. We haven't done the design yet. We'll be building a new city road. So the access for all these homes will not be off of 134th. It will have its own access, 2 points of entry. And we look forward to being part of the neighborhood.
Perfect. You can kind of see what Paula is talking about here as well. Okay, I will leave this up for a second. So we will now open to questions from the audience. Please raise your hand by clicking on the raise hand button in the Zoom screen and clicking on the hand icon. So please help me keep track by stating your name clearly before asking your questions. And all questions are a matter of public record and will be incorporated into the decision document that's provided to both the technical committee and the hearing examiner. If you do wish to be a party of record and receive notification on future decisions for the project, please state your mailing address for the record. If you do not wish your mailing address to be stated on this recorded Zoom meeting, but still want to be a party of record, again, please reach out to me separately via telephone or email. Both are listed on the screen currently with a physical mailing address. Okay, and with that, we can open it up to the audience if anyone has a question. Hi, Will, it looks like you have a question.
Good evening, and thanks for showing us this new plat that you're planning on. Appreciate that. I live just north of the plat on 108th Street that runs east and west. And there's a short little road that goes between that new plat and my street. Is that planning to be a access road? Is my street going to be an access road for this?
Paula or Bob, would you like to take that question?
Are you actually thinking of the line that goes through, that's the trail?
Yeah, it's a little trail. I guess it's an access or right away. I'm not real sure what it's called.
That's actually a city trail that's required. And so, Andrea, I don't know if you can talk to how that is planned, and we're required to put it in.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm actually going to hand that over to Peter Lau with transportation if he would like to speak on it. Peter has more of an idea of what's required than I do.
This is Peter Lau, Senior Transportation Engineer for City of Redmond. So, Will, you said you live on Northeast 108th Street?
Yes.
Okay. Parks Department has a park trail plan that they have designated certain areas of the city to put down trails, either funded or unfunded. And I believe a trail is close by to this development. As a result, they are required to put part of the trail within their development vicinity, but it doesn't mean that it will go connect all the way to your area yet. They are just required to put in as part of their development that's in the vicinity, in their frontage, or within their property, but it won't go all the way to your area yet. It will, I guess, wait until the city has the funding to connect the rest of the trail, or other development appear in your neighborhood. And that will, that's when the trail will continue.
So
Did I answer your question?
well, a simple yes or no would be appreciated. Is my road going to be an access road for this new plat? Is
No,
108th going to be an access road?
no.
Okay.
No, their development doesn't go all the way up to Northeast 108th Street. There's still two more parcels.
Lots, two more lots, yeah, two more parcels.
Yeah, two more lots, yeah.
And then, well, maybe I will ask one more question. So what is the zoning plan for?
Sorry, I was muted. So the zoning in your area is RIN. So that is the residential innovative zone. So it depends. In the event that the lots that are being subdivided are less than 30,500 square feet altogether, then that is designated as, I believe, R4. So that means 4 lots per acre. And if they are larger than the 30,500 square feet, then that means that they are allowed to build up to 5 homes per acre.
Okay, that is what this new development will be looking at then. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
They are in the residential innovative zone.
So I just did a quick look at the math. It looks like an easy 2 homes per acre currently, which would be, according to what you're telling me, probably legal, which I'm not suggesting it's not going to be legal. I'm just kind of wondering how compact it was going to be. So does that end up being like 13,000 square foot lots then for these homes?
They are only required to be 7,000 square feet average, but that doesn't mean that that will be the smallest lot size. That's just an average of the lot sizes.
Okay. Well, that helps too. That's good to know. Okay, well, I'll continue listening. Thank you very much. Those are my 2 questions.
Absolutely. Thank you, Will. Janet, you have your hand up.
Yes, hi, thank you. I just had a question then relating to the square footage. Do you guys have a certain number of stories that you guys are building these houses to?
Paula or Bob, you're welcome to answer that, but the city answer is that they are not allowed to be more than 35 feet in height.
Okay.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, most of them will be 2-story or maybe 2-story and a lot or a loft, which would make a maximum of 35 feet tall.
Cool. I didn't know. I have another question, and that's to do with the like the timeline or considerations for the other development that's right across the way. Are those going to be happening in sync, or are they going to be staggered, or do you guys know?
Paula, was Bernstead the applicant on that as well?
No, DR Horton is next door, and I would guess that they would probably be in before us because they're further along in the process. I think they've got their preliminary plat, so I would assume that they would be, you know, quite a bit of ways ahead of us.
Yeah, I would echo Paula.
All right, cool. And so just to clarify about the road to the plat, there's not going to be a connection from 134th onto 108th. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So the access point is really going to be just along 134th on both sides of the plot. Okay, cool. Is there any planning for any additional traffic kind of main lights off of 134th onto 132nd?
Peter, would you like to speak to that?
There's no proposed connection with a road between 132nd to 134th. So if there's going to be new traffic, it's going to be coming from those new houses, and then they go where they need to go. But their access is the row A that they propose is coming off from 134th Avenue Northeast.
Mm-hmm. I'm thinking more of there's another road that's like down the way a little bit, which I guess would be the main connector road onto 132nd. And if there's going to be any stoplight maybe put in or crosswalks for kids, maybe anything like that.
Which row are you referring to?
It is, if I will look it up one moment, I believe it's maybe, well, I don't know.
I think it's 104th, Northeast 104th Street.
It might be.
Yeah, no, they're not going to, their development doesn't go all the way down to Northeast 104th Street.
Got
So
it.
no, they don't need to, as far as I know, they don't need to put stop sign or any type of traffic enhancement at that intersection.
Okay. And yes, that was the road I was thinking of, the Northeast 104th crossing. Okay. Those are all my questions.
Thank you, Peter. That was very helpful. Janet, if you are done, we can probably move on to Sean.
Hey there, Sean, resident of the Roseville area for the last 10 years and longer, I think, with my wife, even 30 years. We had a couple questions about utilities to the adjacent lots to the west. We currently have a few lots that we would be interested in getting off of septic and would like to see if there's any utilities such as electrical, stormwater, water, cable, and wastewater that we provided to the lots surrounding this project.
Heba, do you want to talk about water and wastewater? And then we can have Bob and Paula maybe talk about the rest of the utilities.
What's proposed? Hi, everyone. What's proposed is to serve the subdivision, basically the whole development with water and sewer through 134th. And all the sewer and water connections are along that road. there are no current design serving any properties to the west of Belcaro. So we have been approached by many properties for the last 2-3 years regarding the wastewater, specifically, basically sewer design, how to really start building the sewer main along 132nd. What we have under our general sewer plan is to build the sewer main along 132nd. There's an agreement between the city of Redmond and city of Kirkland, and it's under update, and the update is due hopefully August of 2022. This agreement will really, one section of that agreement will be about building the sewer main along 132nd. I don't have the details yet of this agreement, but we are hoping that all kinds of questions by the properties along 132nd to be answered. I understand the general contours are going to the east, basically. So the sewer will be going by gravity if we really allow it to go to the east. But really, we cannot really help one property or two. It has to be a joint effort by the neighborhood to really look at the whole area altogether. The city will need to look at the whole area, starting from Northeast 108th Street and go south. So, Sean, we have been exchanging emails, and I know you have 2 properties at least to the west of Belcaro, and we would like to help you. If you like, you can really approach the city by pre-app and start for a bigger decision within the city about the sewer main. So basically, we are waiting for the agreement with the city of Kirkland to be finalized. Second, if all of those properties come to the city with a proposal, the city is willing to take a look at this proposal, and also you have to work with Belcaro, a developer, if they allow any way of the sewer to go through their development to 134th. And I will leave that to the developer also. So that's basically what I have so far.
Okay. But because of gravity, wouldn't it make sense to integrate it east, like you said?
I understand. I agree with you. But if you, maybe I should share, I don't know how to share here my screen.
There should be a green button kind of in the middle under everybody's names.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen?
We can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is the general sewer plan in this area. So basically, Belcaro is building the sewer here, all the way to the intersection of, north of 104th. There's an existing manhole right now. The rest of those properties to the west along 132nd, see the orange line here? This is what really needs to be built by our general plan. And that's where the 2 cities are talking about right now. So all of those properties will need to build that sewer main basically gradually piece by piece all the way until they reach the north. So let's say one or two properties here agree with Belcaro to use their development. Basically, if you get an agreement to go through the property here and reach 134th, how about the rest of the properties to the north? So we really need to look at the whole neighborhood together, because what each property is responsible is to build the sewer main at the frontage, at the between the two limits of each property. Let's say this one is responsible for the sewer main along the frontage here. So if you skip this section, let's say, if you own this one, let's say, and you skip this section, what about the others who have to really build their own sewer one day when they come after yours, your project? So that's where we are really, looking at, and that's, the regulation, basically what we go with. We allow the properties gradually build the sewer main to reach all the way the last manhole here. I hope I'm explaining, I hope it's clear to you here.
So how many
We are
neighbors?
open for, I'm sorry, I'm looking for ideas here, but there are nothing solid to talk about so far.
How many neighbors would it take percentage wise to have you guys consider sewer easements or providing utilities?
There's nothing really, nothing in the code or the requirements telling me, this is really reasonable or not, or per standard or not, nothing. But what's really matters here is, let's say if you have 4 neighbors here, let's say, gather their, their lots together and decide to have one project here. And it's really worth it for them to build the sewer main, starting from the north end of their, edge of right of way, basically, all the way to this manhole. That's basically because we don't have sewer here. So they can build this section all the way to this manhole and put what's called an agreement, latecomers agreement, for all the properties who will benefit from this sewer main. So when those properties need to really connect one day, although they did not participate in the project, they will have to pay you within the next 20 years based on this agreement, that, okay, we're going to pay this development, let's say, this amount of, you decide this amount with help with the city. So, and also those properties also will benefit from this. So basically you hire a consultant, and the consultant will define which properties will benefit from this sewer and divide the cost between all of those properties.
Okay.
So the more lots you have within the project, it becomes really easier for you to absorb the cost right up front and be able to build the sewer main for the whole neighborhood, at least to the north end of your, development.
Okay. So what if we have
Go ahead.
3 adjacent properties that all want to join? Is that enough to sway you into allowing engineering to provide utilities to those lots?
What do you mean provide engineering?
Well,
provide
we have 3 adjacent lots.
Okay.
So, 30% of the lots that are actually developable and this project. So it would be astronomically expensive for anybody along 132nd to dig sewer 10 feet deep and then wrap it around to 104th to have anybody ever make any money or develop that. It's just not going to happen.
I
So
understand.
the gravity and cutting through as an easement to the sewer.
You
they
mean easement here?
in-
You're talking about easement to the east of those properties,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
So I just,
This needs an amendment to the comp plan. That's if you make changes to the general sewer plan, that's an amendment, and this is a process I have to really really do a lots of justification. You have to provide me with justification for this amendment, and it needs to go to the technical committee to be approved, within the city for this change. But at the same time, we always like this amendment needs also to keep in mind that the rest of those properties will not lose their right, as I explained before. So we need to find a solution basically to really reach 132nd again, to be able for those properties to really gradually connect to that sewer main. So I advise you to really come to the city with what's called pre-app. It's a process, and you really approach the development services. Any of the planners, planner on call, what's called, will help you to really look at the 3 properties you have in mind and how to really approach it with sewer. Again, we are all the sewer main until now is not approved by City of Kirkland. They own the right of way until edge of pavement. So they approve any sewer main along 132nd. We don't. So until the agreement is in place between the 2 cities,
yes.
all of those properties along 132nd, all the way to the south, not only in this area, will have to wait until this agreement to be in place.
No, I understand. That's why
Yeah,
I'm bringing
yeah,
it.
but if you have different ideas, and you might be able to really negotiate with Belcaro and come with a proposal in a way that it does not hurt the rest of the neighbors, and they can still use the sewer within the easement. We can take a look at that, but no promise. It's
No, I
not
know,
me
but-
who will approve it. I
No,
have to
no.
go to other people for approval.
But as an engineer, it would totally make sense for all of those
Yeah,
properties to
yes.
have it go
Mhm.
to 134th.
I understand, but
all of
let's
those
say this property does not have a lot of room, let's say here, this house. And also I did not look at how many trees are to the east of those properties. So we need to look at the whole area in general. If planning will allow removal a lot of trees. So I need to really look at the whole area in general, if it's feasible or not.
I will add that this neighborhood and this part of Willows Rose Hill is one of the most recently annexed parts of Redmond. It did happen 2011 or maybe a few years later. And because of that, the city is still working through what to do, and all of our feasibility studies, things like that. Where we've had, 50, 75, 100 years to do that in other areas of the city, we've had, maybe 10 in this area. So that's also something that we understand and are working through, and also what Hiba is saying.
Sure, but there's a lot of development going on up here, and you know, maybe 4 going on right now, just one street down, and you're allowing them to cut trees and put in multiple houses, smaller lots, lots of people coming into this area. And I think that we need to take a step back then and reevaluate this whole plan if you're not allowing the current residents to develop as well. Because you are just looking at this recently, that everything needs to be looked at a little bit more closely.
We
It's,
understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It will be helpful, again, as I said, to come with a pre-app. A planner will help you to really come with a conceptual design. You don't have to come with a lot of engineering plans to the city and discuss what you can do with those 3 lots, at least you're saying.
okay.
Mhm.
And then no traffic light is going to be placed on 104th. Is that what I heard? 104th and 132nd? Sorry.
That's correct.
I'm not sure. Yeah, that's
Yes,
Peter.
the traffic
Yeah.
light proposed.
Okay, I will stop sharing. And I guess, did I answer all of your questions so far?
Yeah, it's just going in a circle, that's all.
Yeah, I know.
So,
Pre-app will help you to really know what you can build on those 3 properties.
no, I understand. It's just,
And a bunch of reviewers will have a chance to look at the 3 lots together and see what's really can be buildable
okay,
for each lot. Mhm.
great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Hiba.
Sure.
Do you have any more questions, Sean?
I think that was all. Timeline for this, what was the timeline again? Proposing everything's going smoothly?
Timelines are typically dependent upon the city review as well as the timeline for the applicant to resubmit. So the city doesn't ever really give timelines, but I'm sure Bob or Paula has a proposed timeline that they would like to stick to.
Of course, our timelines are always dependent on how long it takes Redmond to review. So I could throw that back at you. We would like to start as soon as possible. We understand that the process is going to take, some time, probably a year. I don't know exactly. It will all depend on the review.
Okay.
Sean, I will also, I believe I have your email and your contact, so I will email you about pre-application meetings, including the application and how to apply.
Okay, great. Thank you. That's
You're
all.
welcome. Thank you. Paul, I believe you had your hand up next.
Yeah, hello there. My name is Paul Sandoval, and I live just north of the proposed project site. And one thing I was wondering about, again, along the lines of the traffic, I think in the proposed project mailer, they're listed a number of studies that had to be done in order for the application to go through or whatever. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And when were those studies conducted?
Yeah, Bob or Paula, do you know, or Sherry as well, I apologize. Do either of you guys know when the traffic study was done?
I don't have the dates in front of me, but it would have been in the last 6 months.
Okay.
The traffic study, maybe Bob or Sherry has that info.
Let me look that up. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, so I don't need the exact date.
Oh,
but
yeah, it was probably last fall that it was done.
okay.
It says July 2nd of 2021 is when the memorandum was done. Sorry, I had the the project open. Yeah, it looks like July 2nd.
Okay. So I guess really what my question is then, so it doesn't include the Rosewood Court development. So the impact, that's something like 53 homes that's it's going to be built across the street from this current proposed project. And so if the traffic study for this one was done prior to this other development going in. Do you guys think that's accurate of what the neighborhood's going to eventually see?
Peter, do you kind of want to talk about how you review the traffic study and how you take into account impacts from the surrounding areas?
Well, yeah, a phase 1 traffic study was submitted, and I haven't reviewed it myself, but typically we certainly do want to anticipate other developments surrounding it, and then advise the applicant to provide additional information if we deem that is necessary. So yeah, we'll certainly look into what other developments nearby, and if there's going to be need for additional information provided by the applicant. Usually from phase 1 to a more in-depth traffic study, which is phase 2 with trip generation and trip modeling, traffic study information, that is much more demanding and much more tedious process, and we'll have a lot of data collection. We don't usually encounter much of those, even though you might have some conceivably sizable development nearby, but we have residential streets that have the capacity to absorb those trip generation too. So I would definitely consider other development nearby and see if there's a need for additional information requiring the applicant to provide. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think it would be a little short-sighted not to take into account other developments that are going on almost simultaneously.
The city also, sorry, I apologize. The city also does growth projections for the whole city. And then we incorporate that into our Redmond 2050, currently Redmond 2050 comprehensive plan. So that is something that the city looks at as a whole as well. And we plan for growth, and we include that in our comprehensive plan, which includes parks and transportation, education, things like that.
Okay. Alrighty. Next question is, if you don't mind, would you be able to present the initial plot area again with the tree layout?
Yeah, I can do the tree preservation plan, absolutely.
Awesome, thank you.
You are welcome. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, so well, I guess if it was in the lower right-hand corner, I think shows kind of the one big.
Oh, sorry. Here, sorry, I'm gonna find the tree removal plan. That might be better, what's currently there.
Yeah, even just what you had on the mailer. Okay, yeah, here we go. So in the lower right-hand corner, there shows one big gray tree there. Oh, maybe I just didn't see it. There's actually okay. So the one that's just, below it. So that one will be removed?
That's correct.
Okay, all right, gotcha. Sorry, I just didn't see that prior to looking at it. Okay, yeah, that's questions for right now. Thank you.
Okay, you are welcome. I think I saw Will's hand up as well. Do you have any more questions, Will?
Well, after Sean brought up a couple of things, I have another couple of questions. The map that Howard, how is that, am I pronouncing that correct? Howard, H-A-W-E-D?
Oh, Heba, first initial, last name.
Oh, okay, sorry. Had up with the routes of, I believed it was utilities, if it's possible for her to put that back up again.
Sure, just give me a minute, please.
Please.
Yeah.
Thank you, Heba.
You were saying that and I wasn't getting that at all.
Heba,
Sorry.
my name is Heba, H-E-B-A.
Okay.
Yeah,
H-E-B-A.
1 minute. Mhm. Here you go.
So if you can scrunch it down to show 108th on the top.
Mhm.
So is this the sewer, part of the sewer plan?
That's the general sewer plan for the city, correct?
Or Belcaro? So it looks like the
Mhm.
sewer will go down 108th Street, which is, my house is on the left of the, right there where the 3 is, the top of the 3. That is my lot,
This one,
right at the top on that side. That's correct.
this one, okay.
Okay, so it looks like the plan would be to put a sewer through there over to the trail and then cut back into the subdivision. Is that my understanding? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the plan.
So,
Belcaro will build all the way to the, north edge of their development and stop
okay,
here.
all right.
And then other properties, if they are interested in developing, we are expecting that they will build the sewer like based on this design. That's a general concept.
So if the sewers go through those properties, one of them is mine. How does that work? You just come and tear.
Well, yeah, this work was done by one of the consultants and Public Works. It was developed many years ago. So I need to really look at your property and more closely and see how it was developed and why like 134th and 108th were not used for the design. So I need to go back to Public Works and ask more questions about the reasoning behind this design. But certainly, if this doesn't work, this is a general concept. Again, an amendment can be, it's called minor amendment, can be processed to modify it.
Heba, can I ask you to clarify, can you show on the drawing to show where we will stop the sewer? So I don't know, it's up,
Help me here. This is
you're right.
this lot
Right.
is included in your
Yes, so it's to the north of that lot.
So you
So
stop
that's
here, you put a manhole here and stop here.
right. So Will, I was concerned because your property doesn't adjoin ours and we were talking about the trail. It's actually to the south of our project. So I just wanted to clarify where it is that we're bringing sewer and where our property is. Because if you're north, our trail is actually running east-west between 134th and 132nd.
Oh, okay, yeah, there is a trail right on that, right where it dog legs from 108th, where the black arrow is. I think that's the trail exactly. If you move your cursor up to 108th.
Not on our plan.
It's not on your plan?
No,
Okay.
we don't go, our property doesn't go to 108th. Ours stops right where she has the pointer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, it seems like.
So this isn't Belcaro map plan.
This
Can you
is the
outline-
city general plan, sewer plan. This is only, it shows the properties and how the general concept of sewer for this area.
Okay, this would be more like the Redmond Kirkland plan or something.
This is Redmond plan.
Redmond plan. Okay.
And Belcaro is building the sewer main based on this plan until here only.
And then
they will
south.
stop here.
And then south on 134th.
Yes, they will build it all the way until they reach an existing manhole here. The number of manholes are really do not represent the actual design. So this is just a general concept that, in general, that's where are the manholes. But like, if they stop here, Belcaro will stop here, they have to put a manhole based on our design standard.
So where does Belcaro's sewer go then after it goes south past their development it goes to a manhole, and that is sewer that's already in then is what you're telling us?
It
That
will
that
go
sewer already
to,
exists?
yeah, it will go to this manhole at the intersection of 104th and then go south.
And continue south, okay.
Mhm.
Okay, I think I get that. I'm sure any of the residents on my street will receive a notice if there's plans for any sewer lines. Am I correct to assume that?
I'm not sure this is right. This is, you know, the development is expected to build the sewer, and that's basically the notice. You are notified right now with the plans, basically.
Okay, but
Yeah.
with what I'm understanding is that Belcaro plan does not affect me because there's not going to be any construction activity on 108th Street as a result of the Belcaro plan.
Correct.
Okay, well, that's what I wanted to hear.
Mhm.
Not that I wouldn't like to hear that, because I might be a candidate to hook up, of course, just as my neighbors, I'm sure, would all be candidates to hook up as well. And I'm in with Sean, and I think what Sean was suggesting is the city of Redmond may be a little short-sighted in not wanting to start a little bit more development along the adjoining properties, because it would certainly make sense to start doing that with all the properties that are being developed right now. So with the property, with all those lots going into 132nd, we've just had a recent building put down at 85th on 132nd that's already starting to slow southbound traffic on 132nd. There's not a light planned. Is the city of Redmond and the city of Kirkland planning to do any widening at this point on 132nd?
We'll leave that to someone else to answer. Yeah.
I'm Peter Lau, Senior Transportation Engineer for City of Redmond. 132nd Street is Avenue Northeast is City of Kirtland Road. I'm not aware that they are planning of doing road widening, although they may have that in their 6-year plan or however many year plan that they have. I have not looked up their capital improvement program myself, but no, we don't know. That's a City of Kirtland question.
Okay, so the city of Redmond would not join in on a widening.
If they have a plan of widening, they may contact City of Redmond and see if we would partner with them. But that is more like a Department of Public Works question if
Okay.
City of Redmond would participate. But
So-
that's their right of way entirely.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's
It's
good to
not
know.
half and half.
Oh, I just assumed it was half and half. There you go. Okay, well, hey, that's good. Those are my two questions. Thank you very much. I got the answers I need.
Okay.
Thank you, Heba. Thank you, Peter. We're welcome to stop sharing whenever you would like, Heba. Tom and Kate, it looks like you guys have a question.
Yeah, I may have misunderstood, but that drawing seemed to show the sewer coming down 108th, but then somebody said that no construction was happening on 108th. So is the sewer line coming down 108th?
Yeah. This is an expected route of sewer main in the future. So as you come in to the city from, you know, any property along 134th or 108th, will come to the city, will discuss with you this general plan and see how it's feasible and how you will really work around it. So there's no work right now will be done to answer your question. It's just something conceptual design for properties as they come to the city for redevelopment.
Okay, because we have two properties on 108th and would be interested. So
Um,
if we wanted to talk to Redmond about that
mhm.
or somebody about that, what would we do?
Well, you can come in to the city with what's called a pre-app. You can contact a planner on call and start the process for a pre-application. It's free. You come in, you actually have an opportunity for all the engineers and the planner to look at the site in general. What do you like to propose and what's really allowed based on our standards? This process is really fairly simple at the beginning, but at least you will know what you can do with your property.
So where is the proposed line actually going to be for the current project that is going to actually have construction and go in? Where is that line on that picture?
We just talked about it. I don't know, you probably missed the conversation. So here Belcaro will build the sewer main along 134th all the way until this location.
Okay, so that
we'll stop.
all the lines that were drawn were just conceptual and they're only filling in some of those lines essentially.
Exactly. And we start from downstream. So they are starting from downstream, basically, for sewer. That's what we do. And they will build it all the way to the north end of the property of their development and will stop here. And then let's say this property will develop. I'm sorry, 1 minute.
Thank you, Hiba.
Yeah, I thought I'm sharing, so I apologize. Okay, can you see the plan?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
So Belcaro will start from downstream and go up and build the sewer main all the way to the north edge of their development and set a manhole and stop. Any property who's interested to develop north of this, logically, any property here who want to really rebuild their home or subdivide or any proposal, they will have to really build the rest of the sewer main gradually to the north until it reaches 108.
Okay.
And like if you happen to have, I don't know which property you have, but let's say if you are here and you want to redevelop, you will need to take care of the sewer until you reach this manhole. This is just a hypothetical concept. So you really need to pick up the sewer from the last manhole.
Okay, would we coordinate with Rick Bernstead construction on that since they're already bringing it up?
Well, that's something you really need to discuss with the developer. If the developer is willing to really include your work within their contract, and the city needs to approve that as well. So.
Okay.
Does that answer all of your questions, Tom and Kate?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Do we have any more questions before we log off for the night? Paul?
Yeah, can you just refresh me on what is the next step in the process?
Yeah, the next step in the process is going to be coordinated civil review. So that's after it goes through technical committee and has a public hearing and is approved by the hearing examiner. And then if it makes it through the 10 business day appeal period, it will go into coordinated civil review.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, anybody else? Okay, with that, this video will be posted online in case anyone wants to come back to it and review it again. It normally does take a few days, but I assure you it will be on there. And then all of the questions that you guys have asked tonight will also be included on the same project webpage, along with the answers that were provided by staff. In some cases, it will be a shortened answer, but I promise that it will be an accurate answer. There were some longer answers tonight. But besides that, if there are no more questions, feel free to contact myself or Paula. But thank you everyone for joining and have a wonderful night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
you.
everyone.